In this video, I'm going to debunk 7 myths about imposter syndrome. Myth number 1. Imposter syndrome doesn't exist. Have you expressed self-doubt to somebody and you've been met with a response like, "Don't take it so personally," or "Why do you care about what other people think?" When you're met with such a response, it just leaves you feeling inadequate and feeling like it's all in your head. The reality is, imposter syndrome has been widely studied for over 40 years, with academics, medics, and the corporate world all agree on one thing, and that it exists. In fact, as of today, imposter syndrome was searched on Google over 9.4 million times. So that tells us that it very much is real. Myth number 2, imposter syndrome only affects women. This is no longer true. In fact, a recent UK study revealed that almost half of male and female respondents have suffered from imposter syndrome on a regular basis. Also, 82% of professionals have suffered from imposter syndrome at some point in their lives. Myth number 3, imposter syndrome is a medical condition. Being affected by imposter syndrome is nowhere near the same as having a mental health condition. The word syndrome insinuates a health condition, such as, say, anxiety or depression. In fact, I much prefer the word phenomenon. So if we start talking about imposter phenomenon, it sounds less pervasive and less like a mental condition such as depression or anxiety. Let's face it, having self-doubt or limiting beliefs around competency, they're nowhere near the same as having a mental health issue. Myth number 4, imposter syndrome is your fault. People who suffer from imposter syndrome often feel that it is their fault because they feel like they're not capable enough, they're not resilient enough, or they're just not good enough. There's a whole lot of not enoughness. And let me tell you, it's utterly false. In fact, it's high achievers that tend to suffer from imposter syndrome the most. They tend to overwork, they don't settle for anything less than perfect. In fact, they're on a constant mission to work really hard so that they can prove their worth. Myth number 5, imposter syndrome doesn't affect confident people. In fact, the most successful people we know suffer from imposter syndrome. David Bowie, Michelle Obama, Emma Watson, Maya Angelou, all those amazing, talented, wonderful people have suffered from imposter syndrome at some point in their life or other. In fact, imposter syndrome disproportionately impacts people who are talented, smart, and successful. So that totally blows apart the theory that imposter syndrome doesn't impact confident people. Myth number 6, imposter syndrome keeps you humble. Imposter syndrome is not going to keep the ego in check. Being authentic, being genuine, and confident is not the same as being cocky. When you're affected by imposter syndrome, you tend to downplay on your achievements. You tend to think it was all down to luck or somebody else could have done it. And you find it really difficult to accept compliments. With imposter syndrome, you also tend not to grasp opportunities because you feel like you're simply not qualified enough. Basically, you're playing small and not acknowledging your worth. You end up feeling unfulfilled and missing out on earning potential and the recognition that you deserve for all your hard work. And it can also lead to health conditions, whether it's sleep disorders or digestive problems, and even burnout and mental health issues. Myth number 7, imposter syndrome is cured by positive thinking. Positive thinking alone is not going to help you overcome imposter syndrome. To treat imposter syndrome, you really have to get back to the root cause of where, why, and when those feelings first came into somebody's life. This is because our beliefs are largely shaped by the ages of 8. And let's face it, no baby was ever born with a self-confidence issue. In fact, life is full of possibilities when you're a baby, right? But something happens along the line, and that really shapes our beliefs. So our childhood experiences shape our thoughts, feelings, and beliefs. And while they were appropriate for us when we were a child, as an adult they show up as limiting beliefs, and they hold us back from what it is that we want. So if you are suffering from imposter syndrome and finding it exhausting dealing with all the self-doubt and this fear of criticism, failure and judgment, then believe me, it doesn't have to be like this. You can deal with this and have more empowering thoughts and beliefs through subconscious mind work. In fact, there are 9.5 million people doing a Google search today on how to overcome imposter syndrome. Now, if you've enjoyed this video and found it insightful, please leave a comment below and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you.